General's presentation today was captivating. It is really inspiring story. Said, and it also gives you a sense of what we are here for entrepreneurs, but these are people who are putting their lives on the line, literally. And to hear that was very, very moving. So it was a very, very good beginning.
What moment in your life would define resilience?
In all life, any life you live long enough, you will see setbacks, struggles, suffering. This is an essential Buddhist wisdom. That there is a saying that pain is real and suffering is optional, and that is something that I always keep in mind, because whatever we go through, we have to separate ourselves from that, whether it's both pain and pleasure, and we have to have that suffering part of it optional. Realize that I don't have to suffer this moment. Whether it's business setbacks, personal setbacks, illness, you keep that thought in your head. This pain is real right now, what I'm going through, but the suffering is optional. Then that'll work itself out somehow.
A moment in your life that actually defines success to you?
Our ability to do the impact in the villages we are doing now. Multiple in Tenkasi district, in Tanjavur district. Because all that could only come from because the company we have built, we have the resources, we have the employees who care, people who are going there and volunteering, doing impressive work there on the ground. All of that is only possible because of the technologies the company we have built.
Which part of your daily routine makes you happy?
I go for a swim in the morning, and that's in a irrigation well or a pond. Yeah, usually either in a pond or a well, depending on the season. Sometimes the ponds are full, sometimes not. Then I go to a well. Usually I do it every morning, most mornings. So it's about 1 hour I swim.
1 hour?
I swim about 1.5 to 2 kilometers. So, and that will be my happiest. Because I also collect my thoughts during the time. That's a time without the phone, without the digital thing, right? They haven't yet invented a way to be connected while in the water, which is good.
So a little bit about advice for the youngsters, how to manage time.
So you have to prioritize what is important to you, and you have to find time for it. You cannot declare 18 things important. You have to find maybe 2-3 things important, then make sure you have the time for it. If something is important and you are not allocating time, then it really is not important. See, this is where people have this cognitive dissonance, right? I say something is important, but I won't spend any time on it. That means it's not important to me. So decide what is important to yourself and allocate your time. Then you automatically, because that you already decided it's important, it's your passion, you will do it. It's like my swimming, I find the 1 hour because it's important to me. So I go there and jump in the water, however cold it is. And there are seasons, in December or January, it is pretty cold at 6 a.m. But I still will jump in. And that's that because it's important to me.
What difference do you see in young entrepreneurs these days, and what would you suggest them to actually add in their lifestyle?
The last few years gave us a certain short-term outlook. We have to succeed quickly, growth at all costs. But it comes with long-term damage to our organization, to people, all of that. People burn out. If you push too far, too much, people burn out. If you don't retain your core team, your important people long-term, you really cannot execute long-term. So it's important that we pace ourselves. That's one thing that I'll advise, because there is particularly in hot growth times, it is the tendency is to push the thing as far as it will go. But you tend to break things when you do that. So you have to pause yourself, you have to build for the long haul.
2 questions I wanted to ask out of the script which you have, that when you stage event you said that I refuse to do work. So how exactly do you cope up when those people are actually experimenting but they're also failing, but it also costs heavily for the company? So in that transition, how do you manage the situation?
This is where we don't have one project that risks everything in the company on all. We have a lot of small projects going on. Every one of them could have setbacks, any of that, and still we would survive. So there is a lot of resilience built in that way. Spread the thing that way, smaller chunks, and each of them will have their leadership and people are trying, and there is an atmosphere of freedom because you learn to try new things. This can sometimes create overlaps. It can create redundancy like that. But we consider it a worthy price to pay for the freedom to execute.
What quality of yours do you credit your success in considering the current scenario?
Persistence, just staying on problems over long periods. Whether it's software we build, frameworks, all of it, we have just stuck to it. We know this is an important market, we'll be at it. And I'll give an example of Zoho Mail itself. That is now one of our leading products. But it took 10 years for us to actually establish ourselves in the market. 10 years, most people would not stay. But why we stayed is because it's an important market. No Indian company has ever done it. So we are going to stick to it and figure this out, which is what we are doing in Aratai now. Aratai is in that early stage where it's not well known, but we are investing in it. We are making it awesome. We know that in 10 years it will be a big one, but we're just sticking to it. Persistence.
Last question, sir. A moment from a fan or a person who admires you, which you would never forget.
I actually feel sometimes sad when people mob me, all of that, because I'm an ordinary person. I have been around in Chennai for 25 years and all this. So I'm not. I ask people not to treat me special. In the office, actually, I've prohibited selfies for employees. So I walk around because I'm around. See, I'm always around. But please don't ask for selfie, I say.
Thank you, sir.